Okay, so hey guys, so tonight I wanted to do my Best in Beauty Part 1 of 2015 video for you guys. It was pretty easy for me to break down these certain items that I'm going to share with you. I decided to mostly include eyeshadows, eyeshadow singles, and blushes and highlighters. I wasn't going to necessarily throw everything into one video just because I feel like it'd be too long, and I just didn't really feel like recording for too long tonight. I'm pretty tired, and I've been wearing my makeup for 10 hours today, so I really just wanted to rip it off after this. But we're gonna start with eyeshadows and then work our way through basically just sticking to powder products. So we are going to start with eyeshadows. Okay, so I'm going to start off with eyeshadows. Sorry, I just had to fix my lipstick a little bit. And the reason why I've been wearing my makeup all day is because I did go out to breakfast with my boyfriend this morning, so I am pretty tired, and I did work after that. I did have to go right back to work and work. So yeah, sorry I'm a little bit off. I'm just pretty tired. So yeah, so we're going to start off with eyeshadows, and I think I'm going to start with my top favorite brand of the entire year and of my frigging life. I don't think it's any surprise for me to tell you that Too Faced is basically is my life, and I own probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 eyeshadow palettes from them. They're definitely the brand that I own the most palettes from, and the quality of their shadows is just amazing to me. I just absolutely love them, and I don't think it's going to be any surprise for the 3 eyeshadow palettes I'm going to be sharing with you. So these are the 3 that I chose. Yeah, a lot of people love these Chocolate Bar palettes, and so do I, so I have to share the Chocolate Bar palettes first because these are probably consistently the best shadows I've ever tried in a palette before. I am just obsessed with them. The reason why I chose these was because I use these year-round. I try and use these at least twice a month if I use newer eyeshadow palettes. I probably didn't use these last month because I got so many new eyeshadow palettes that I was trying. But before that, I use these consistently and try to use them when I can because these are absolutely bomb. So my favorite one would have to be the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette. It's probably my holy grail, honestly, next to the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. But yeah, these 2 eyeshadow palettes are amazing to me. I absolutely love them, and I use them so much. I just used the Natural Eyes palette yesterday when I actually, I shared my products I want to use up in 2016 with a different look, so forgive me for that, which I actually already did use up my first product already in that video. I used up the YSL Touche Cut Radiant Touch Highlighter Pen in Luminous Ivory. I used it up today, and I'm almost out of my Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer, and those products were both in the video, so I already used both of those up, so I'm already good onto a good start. So this is the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette. I think you've seen this enough, but I have gotten my fair use out of this. Maybe some people would say that this one isn't their favorite over the Chocolate Bar palette because there are 2 dud shades in here, which I barely have touched. But other than that, I use at least 10 of the shades in here religiously when I use this palette. It's definitely all of these 5 here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shades out of 16 shades in a palette. I think it's pretty worth it. And just the quality of these are just mind-blowing to me. They blend like a dream. Like the Chocolate Bar formula, I guess everybody should put cocoa powder in their eyeshadows because they blend amazingly. They might not be everybody's favorite blendable shadows, but I just find that they're so smooth and they're super they're not super pigmented, but they're super blendable. And they're still really pigmented, but they're very easy to blend out. So I don't really have to talk about this too much. My favorite shade in this palette is definitely Peanut Butter. It's an amazing shade, and I really don't have like a favorite shade in this palette. I really love all of them. But Peanut Butter probably might be my favorite. And Truffled is also a great shade as well. And Mousse is a great color too. And these two shimmery shades, Caramel and Bonbon. When I'm actually looking at this again, I really want to use it. I might even use it tomorrow. But I was promising myself to use my Morphe palette tomorrow, which I have been digging so much. But I can't include it in this video because I didn't use it year round. I've only been using it for the past like 2 or 3 months. So I really tried to pick eyeshadow palettes that I used year round. So that's the first one. That's not really a surprise. You guys know I love that palette. And then the other one obviously is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palettes. This is amazing. Like, this probably is the most consistent Too Faced palette out there. And a lot of people obviously love this palette. It's just new to me. I did get this the day after Valentine's Day because my boyfriend got me the semi-sweet for Valentine's Day, and then I bought this the day after because I had to own both of them, and I was dying to get these palettes when I had saw them because I originally only really knew about the Naked palettes, and then I discovered these and I was so obsessed with them when I first got them. So this is the Chocolate Bar palettes. You guys have probably seen this a million times, and yes, I still have my insert from this because that's how I am. But this palette is also amazing as well. I've used pretty much all of the shades in here. There are a couple shades in both of the palettes that I haven't ever used, like the green and like this other green here, but pretty much every single other shade I've used before. And I have to say, this is an amazing palette as well. You have this really beautiful neutral 6 shadows over here. And then you have these other neutral shadows here, but you also have some pops of color. It really is a perfect palette. And the quality, again, is absolutely amazing. Salted Caramel is one of my all-time favorite lid shades. This shade is gorgeous. That's probably my favorite shade in the palette. And then also, what shade is this one? I think that is, actually I think that's not Salted Caramel. That's Marzipan, I believe. Yeah, that's Marzipan. And then the gold one is Creme Brulee right here, really gorgeous. And also the red shade, Cherry Cordial is gorgeous. And also Champagne Truffles, really amazing. So yeah, I really feel like I need to just go back to using both of these palettes for tomorrow and Tuesday. But we'll see. I was planning on doing like a full Too Faced like look with a lot of Too Faced palettes the next like couple days. I was going to do that this past weekend and then like tomorrow and Tuesday, but then of course I didn't, and I did use the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette yesterday. But yeah, this is amazing as well. Let's not ramble anymore about those because you guys know they're amazing. And then the other one is obviously the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. I did already mention this in my products I've used up video. This is my Holy Grail natural palette. It really is. I absolutely love this palette so much. I am going to try and hit pan on Silk Teddy this year because, as you can see, I have used a lot of it. But I use this palette whenever I have the chance to. If I don't end up using the Chocolate Bar palettes, I go back to using this at least once or twice a month. So I'm going to try and use this a lot more than once or twice a month. But again, it is pretty hard for me to start trying to use certain eyeshadows and keep up with using certain palettes because you can get so overwhelmed with palettes that it gets difficult. But this is absolutely amazing. These here are beautiful shades. Push Up is beautiful. Cashmere Bunny and Sexpresso are amazing. These are probably the shades that I use the most. These 3 up here and these 4 down here because those are the neutral ones. But Erotica and Chocolate Martini I've used a couple of times and I really actually love those too. I actually even created a look with the gold and used this on the outer corner and it looked amazing. It actually looked pretty natural. So you can go anywhere with this palette and I just love it so much. I have used this so much and I absolutely love that. So I don't really have to ramble about that anymore. Then I'm going to mention Some single shadows. This is probably my second favorite brand this year. I don't think it's a shock for me to mention that I absolutely fell in love with ColourPop this year. And ColourPop is probably my top brand next to Too Faced, besides Urban Decay. But ColourPop is bomb. Like, absolutely bomb. Their stuff is the most mind-blowing quality I've ever seen for a cheap eyeshadow or a cheap lipstick or anything like that. You can't beat the price of these, and you can't beat the quality. They're amazing. So I'm going to mention this bad boy right here first. This is the ColourPop Where the Light Is by Kathleen Lights. Oh my god, she did such an amazing job on this, and combined with the formula of these shadows, these were so out of the park for me with the quality of these. I absolutely love them, and I can't get enough of these shades. And I'm going to mention my all-time favorite lid shade in a second, but these 4 shades are absolutely amazing. So I think I'm just going to go right in and talk about the stars of this palette. Kathleen Lights, not to toot her own horn, is my all-time favorite lid color. It is the most amazing eyeshadow you could ever put on your eye. Like, it's this gorgeous light bronzy gold shade, and that's what it looks like right there. When you put this on your lid, it is amazing quality, and when I dip my finger in this, it feels so super creamy and soft, and it's just so super pigmented, and that's what it looks like right there. I used this definitely like a few times a month when I first got it, and it is so friggin' beautiful. If I threw out all my lid shades tomorrow and just had this, I probably could wear this for like the rest of my life, but it's so gorgeous, and I really gravitate towards warm tones like this, and definitely like bronzy warm tones, so that's my all-time favorite. And then the other one that's absolutely amazing in here is the shade Blaze. This one is also gorgeous. I haven't used this one as much because I use this more on the outer corners because I always use Kathleen Lights on the lid, but this one is also amazingly gorgeous. And then also this color called Cornelius, which is the matte shade. I have used this quite a bit. If you can see, I have put a pretty big dent in that one. This is a really beautiful matte crease shade. And then the last one is Glow. I'm kind of scratching myself, which is this really gorgeous like white brow bone highlight, and that's what it looks like right there. So I have used these tons and tons of times, and I would have to say these are definitely one of my favorite. These is like my favorite quad I've ever used in my life. And these are like top shelf quality for me as well. So those are the first 4 I want to mention. And then the other 3 are all single shadows, but this one shadow is probably my second like all-time favorite shade. Also, I am wearing ColourPop shadows on my eyes today. I did decide to finally wear some ColourPop shadows. And if you are looking for eyeshadows that are super cheap and won't transfer and will stay put literally the whole day, ColourPop is your absolute choice. They don't go on wet, they go on creamy, and then they are dry for the whole day, and they don't go anywhere. Do you see how much pigment is still on my lid? And I've been wearing this since 11 this morning. And I've been wearing this shade called Sequin. And this is one of my all-time favorites as well. This shade is absolutely beautiful. And I'll swatch it for you. Yeah, it's so gorgeous. That one is Sequin right there. Like, do you see like the pigment and the reflect on these? They're just amazing. So there are so many people that buzz about ColourPop on YouTube, and it's for a reason because the quality of their eyeshadows are so out of the park. They're absolutely amazing. And then the last one I'm going to mention is ColourPop's, well, not the last one, actually there's one more. This is like one of my all-time favorites as well. This is ColourPop's Ibiza. I did mention this in my products I want to use up video because I don't think it's going to be too difficult for me to use this up because I've already hit pan on it, but I am going to swatch it for you. It is so gorgeous. And also swatching it helps to hit pan too. Like I just dug a little bit more out there, but that's what it looks like here. But I am going to most likely use this product up. But look how beautiful that color is. Isn't it amazing? So freaking gorgina. So that is my other all-time favorite. And then my other absolute favorite one is ColourPop's Game Face. This shade is amazing. It literally looks like a liquid penny on your eye. And I love using this a lot with the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette because, what's her name? But I just wanted to swatch all of these for you to see the effect of these. This is Game Face right here. So beautiful, right? I know. So these are definitely like my top 4 shadows from ColourPop. But Andrea Mitigliano loves using this shade with the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette. This is like her all-time favorite lid shade, which is also one of my favorites. And like the Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette is like her favorite eyeshadow palette of like all time. So she uses them like constantly. So that is it for ColourPop. Now let's move on to Urban Decay. So I don't think it's going to be any surprise for me to mention this first palette. I have been using, this is probably the only eyeshadow palette in this whole video that I have used for an entire year. And I would have to say that the quality of these shadows are mind-blowing. This is the Urban Decay Electric palette. If you love pigmented, colorful shadows, you need this. You don't even need to look at any other palettes. This will be your palette. And maybe if you want to buy like a single color of like a different color that they don't have in this palette. But this is probably one of your best bets you'll ever make in your life if you love colorful shadows, because these are so mind-blowingly pigmented. And they're beautiful. They go on the lid amazingly. They just have that super shocking pigment. My all-time favorite shades are, my favorite shade in the palette is Gonzo. I love this shade so much. It's so beautiful. And Chaos I also love as well. Savage and Jilted are probably my top 4. And then, I've used all of these so much though. Like, I've used every single shade in this palette, and I absolutely love them. I did drop this on the floor once. I'm sorry about that. That's why it looks a little bit messy. That's why Slow Burn looks a little bit shattered. But that was like really the only shade that got a little bit damaged. Everything else pretty much stayed intact. But as I'm looking at them, I like realize how much I love this palette. I did just use it 2 days ago. I did use these 2 shades with Revolt. So I always gravitate using this palette again when I go out, and I absolutely love it. I really can't say any more about that. It's my all-time favorite colorful palette. It's so freaking amazing. So that's the first one from Urban Decay. And then the second one is obviously the Urban Decay Naked palette. I had never owned this before this year, and this was actually the last Urban Decay Naked palette for me to purchase. And it's so crazy because the Naked 2 became one of my like regrets. And this one is definitely one of the best eyeshadow palettes I've ever used before. I do love the third one, but I actually stopped using that by like February because I had so many other eyeshadow palettes I needed to use that this one became my all-time favorite. It's just beautiful. My all-time favorite Naked palette. And these shadows blend out so beautifully, and this part right here of the palette are so amazing. I think that's why most people own this palette. My favorite shade in the palette is probably Sin, Virgin, and Sidecar, and Half Baked. They're probably my favorite shades, and Buck. Buck is a gorgeous shade, and Naked. So yeah, basically this whole thing. If I could just live with an eyeshadow palette with these 6 colors in here, I would be good. But this is beautiful. I have used Gunmetal a lot with a lot of silver looks, and I've used Creep as well. I've used every single shade in this palette actually. And I have to say these are really amazing quality. So Definitely the best naked palette out there. I cannot believe I didn't own this palette earlier in my life. I really should have, because then I would have gotten so much use out of it. And I can't believe I wasn't a palette girl until this year, because I lost a lot of years of using eyeshadow palettes by not utilizing eyeshadow palettes. So those are the two from Urban Decay I decided to pick. And then, of course, the finale of eyeshadows. You guys know these are bae to me, and they are not my, they are probably they are my all-time favorites, but they're not my all-time favorites next. They're like my all-time favorites next to ColourPop when it comes to lid colors. When it comes to crease colors and matte colors, they're probably like tied with Too Faced. So I can't like put them ranked over Too Faced or ColourPop or Urban Decay, but I would have to say they're probably number 4 for me, but it's not really number 4. It's more like these are all tied for number 1. So I obviously have to say my Makeup Geek shadows are my best of 2015 shadows, period, because I used these I literally use a Makeup Geek shadow every single day. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I have such a wide collection of the colors, and I just think every shade is pretty much bomb. There are maybe 2 or 3 shades that are duds, but basically every other one is amazing. So I obviously have to mention my bays when it comes to matte shadows. The first row right here, this right here and this color right here, absolutely amazing. I do love this color too. I just don't use it as much as the other ones. But Vanilla Bean, Beaches and Cream, Creme Brulee, Peach Smoothie, Shimma Shimma, and Rapunzel. Rapunzel is one of my favorite lid shades ever. It's so gorgeous. Same thing with Shimma Shimma. But Creme Brulee and Beaches and Cream, definitely my top 2 favorite shadows of the year, because Beaches and Cream was my all-time favorite transition shade this year, and I used it today. I use it every single day, and I actually did use a full one of this up, so I did prove that I love these so much. And Creme Brulee is my like all-time favorite crease shade, and I use it so much, and I'm goaling myself to use that up this year as well. And then Shimma Shimma, so beautiful for the lid and the inner corners. I love it. And then Rapunzel, again, is so gorgeous for the lid and also for the inner corners. Also Frappe, Latte, Cocoa Bear, and Mocha. I use the crap out of those as well. Cocoa Bear is probably my favorite one. It's so gorgeous. So many people rave about that shadow. Sorry. Then Cinderella and Cupcake I also love too. Such beautiful pink shades. And then the only dud I would say in here is Glamorous. I'm not too crazy about that one. And then these ones are more new. I'm not going to say really my thoughts on them. I do love these 4 shadows though. Desert Sands, Chickadee, and Bitten. Those are beautiful. But I'm just going to say that they're beautiful. I didn't use them year round. And Glamorous I didn't use year round either, or Rapunzel. So, but I just wanted to mention that Rapunzel was definitely a recent favorite, but I just love it so much that I had to mention it in this video. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the matte shadows. But yeah, I don't really have to rave about these anymore. You guys know I friggin' love them. So that's that. And then of course I have to mention the dual chrome and foiled shadows. The foiled shadows are probably my all-time favorite shadows this year. I used them so much since I got all of them. The only one I didn't use too much was Center Stage, because that one I just didn't have an opportunity to wear. But the rest of these, I used them so freaking much this year. I don't really have to go too much into these. Starry Eyed is my all-time favorite inner corner highlight. I did say that before. It's just absolutely amazing. I am probably pretty close to hitting pan on this soon, because I see I've made a pretty big dent in the center. But that is Starry Eyed right here. It's just the perfect inner corner shade, and look how beautiful that is. It looks like similar to the ColourPop formula. It almost looks wet. And then this really beautiful color called Whimsical is definitely one of my favorites as well. So gorgeous. It's like this icy pink color. like silvery pink. I love that color so much. And then also I love In the Spotlight, Magic Act, and then I love all of these basically. They're amazing. Pegasus is freaking gorgeous. Grandstand is also beautiful. Mesmerize, Showtime, Highwire, Daydreamer. I love all of them. I love all of the foiled shadows. The foiled shadows are so kick-ass. The only thing about these compared to the ColourPop ones is that these do transfer a lot. Not too much, but enough to notice that it has transferred. My ColourPop shadows literally, maybe there's a little bit of transfer up here, but that's probably pretty recent. But there's really literally little to no transfer with ColourPop shadows. That's really the only reason why ColourPop shadows are ranked higher than my Makeup Geek shadows. But other than that, the quality of these are amazeballs. And then for the dual chromes, I didn't really use these year-round, so I'm not going to include those because the foiled shadows I've had a lot longer. Probably since like May or June, I would say. So I would say for a good 6 months I was using these shadows. Maybe there were some other products I was only using for 6 months, but since I used these so much, I have to include them. So I'm not going to mention any dual chromes because those are newer. But yeah, I would have to say the foiled shadows are kick-ass. This is Whimsical right here if you didn't see that before. But these are definitely my two favorite shades, Whimsical and Starry-Eyed. So gorgeous. And Pegasus, I guess I'll swatch Pegasus. It's definitely one of my favorites too. I did just wear it like 2 days ago. It's on the bottom right corner. So beautiful. So that is it for eyeshadows. Now let's get into blushes and highlighters. So I'm just going to breeze through highlighters because I only have like 4 here because I was actually looking at my highlighters and they're either more recent ads or highlighters that I did not use as much as these two highlighters, and I did already mention this in my products I've used up, I want to use up video. You really can't mention Best of Beauty highlighters without mentioning Becca highlighters, and these are pretty much the best highlighters I've ever used in my life. My holy grail one is definitely Becca Streaming Skin Perfector Pressed in Opal. This is absolutely amazing. If you're looking for a universal highlight that, sorry, like kind of flopped over, that you want that glow every single day and you love that intense highlight, go with this. You cannot go wrong. These have the most intense, beautiful, oh my god, can I not drop it? The most intense color payoff I've ever seen before from a highlight. Like, and they're so smooth and buttery. They're just amazing. So this one is Becca's Opal right there. It's so gorgeous. You probably won't see it reflect too much because I kind of put it on an awkward part of my hand. But it's so beautiful. So that is Opal. And then the second one is Becca's Champagne Pop, which is also absolutely amazing. This is Jaclyn Hill's collaboration with Becca, and this was pretty much my bae as soon as I got it. I did get this like in August because it's only been out since August or July or whatever, but I used the crap out of this so much, and I really couldn't think of another highlighter that I've used so consistently besides like Moonstone, but these took the place of Moonstone. I do love Moonstone still, but these two are just so bomb. So that one is, which one is it? Champagne Pop is the bottom one right there. I really did swatch these on a terrible part of my hand, but I'm pretty sure you guys know that how bomb Becca highlighters are. So I don't really have to go too much into these because these are my holy grails. So I love those so much. And then the other two I want to mention, maybe the only other one I have owned for quite a while is this Kevyn Aucoin Celestial Powder in Starlight. This was definitely one of my all-time favorites this year. It is so gorgeous. It's just like amazing. I love this so much. I can't believe how expensive it is though, but it's just so freaking beautiful. I probably won't repurchase this if I actually ever end up using it up. That one is Celestial powder in Starlight, the highlighter in Starlight. It's so beautiful. It has like this matte shimmery effect to it, and it's not like too intense, but it's not too dull. It's just like right in the middle, and it's so gorgeous. So that is the Starlight powder. I love this so much, but it's so expensive for how small it is, but I'm so glad I got to try out a couple of Kevyn Aucoin products this year because they are amazing. And then the other one I have to mention, because I didn't mention Moonstone, even though I love it, I just really wanted to narrow it down to my top two. But I used this so much in the beginning of the year that I had to mention in this video. This is the NARS highlighter blush in the shade Albatross. I used the crap out of this in the beginning of the year. This was like my go-to highlighter of choice. And I still love it. I just haven't used it in a little while. But this is absolutely beautiful. And it just has this like white effect to it. It's like very white but has a little bit of gold. It's beautiful. So I've definitely fallen in love with a lot of NARS products this year that I am going to mention a lot more in my other Best of Beauty. And this is already a half hour, so I'm really glad I broke it down just to the top 3 things I really want to talk about first. But yeah, this is gorgeous, and I did use this so much during the first half of the year. So I was trying to like make sure I remembered to mention certain products I used throughout the year and for the first half of the year. Now for blushes, I picked out 7 blushes. I was trying to really pick out blushes I used consistently throughout the year. The first one I have to mention is probably the one I used the most because I got this like in April or May or something. And I try to use this blush as much as I can because I absolutely love it. This is the Kat Von D Everlasting Blush in the shade Bellissima. All of these blushes I'm going to mention are basically like my top favorite blush formulas. I would have to say my top favorite blush formulas are Becca, NARS, MAC, Kat Von D, Tarte, and what's the other one? Urban Decay. I love so many of my blushes, but this was probably the blush I used very consistently throughout the whole year. And I'd have to say that this blush is so freaking gorgeous. I narrowed it down to just this one rather than like Clinique's Cheek Pops and stuff like that, or like Urban Decay's Video, because I just know I used this one the most consistently throughout the whole year because this is definitely the one I've had the longest. And also, I really hope she comes out with new blushes soon because her blushes are bomb. They last so long. I can't believe how pigmented her products are because they're amazing. So if you want a blush that lasts all day, go with Kat Von D because you cannot go wrong with those. You can't go wrong with NARS, and you can't go wrong with Tarte. Those don't fade on you. They're amazing. Then, of course, my other 3 favorites that I've had for quite a long time already is my 3 shades of Becca blushes. You guys know I absolutely love Becca blushes, and I couldn't go through this video without mentioning these 2 blushes here. And then I'll mention the third one, but these ones I've had like a couple months longer than the third one. But this one is Becca's Mineral Blush in Songbird, and this one is Becca's Mineral Blush in Flower Child. Oh my god, you don't even know how much use I got out of these blushes. They're absolutely amazing. This is Songbird. It's such a beautiful orangey shimmery color. I used the crap out of that in the summertime. It's amazing. And then this one is Flower Child, which is such a gorgeous peachy pink color. I actually did just use this a couple of days ago. It's so, so, so beautiful. Like, if you're not a person that doesn't really like pink blushes, but you don't really like coral, this is your bae because it's like right in the middle of like every other blush. So this one is Becca's Flower Child right there. It's so gorgeous. I love it. So I had to mention those 2. And then this one is more of like a favorite from like August on. But I can't do a Best of Beauty video without mentioning this. I've been using it for 5 months, obviously. So this is my Holy Grail blush. This is the Becca Mineral Blush in Wild Honey. Oh my god, this blush is so gorgeous. I just love this blush so, so, so much. It's like my all-time favorite. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like so gorgeous on the cheeks. Like I can't get enough of this blush. I haven't used it recently. I did use it maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, which is pretty recent for me, because I've been so obsessed with NARS blushes. Hint, hint. But this is kind of a crappy swatch. Let's do it more over her. But I don't know what it is. It's just so beautiful. This one is Wild Honey right there. I just feel like it's like the perfect blush shade. I just feel like it goes with everything. And I used this so much during the summer. And I used it so much during the fall. It was definitely my go-to fall shade. It's so beautiful. Then the other one I want to mention before I mention very recent favorites. But I can't really not mention these without saying they're my best of beauty. The other one I want to mention is the Hourglass Lighting Blush in Ethereal Glow. I was living in this for a while throughout like April and May. This is so gorgeous on the cheeks. It just gives such a natural glow to your cheeks, and it literally is like looking like you're glowing from within, and that's why I love Hourglass so much. Oh my god, I forgot to mention my other holy grail products, but I think you guys already know. Segueing into Hourglass. The Hourglass Luminous Light Powder was definitely one of my all-time favorite shades this year for a highlight. I didn't really use this as much as a highlight for this year. I used it so much more as a finishing powder. You guys already know that. I use this every single day to finish my makeup. But it's so, so, so beautiful. Oh my god. This one is Hourglass's, right here. Hourglass's Ethereal. Not ethereal, luminous light right there. It's so beautiful. Oh my god, I'm almost done. You're almost done. My neck's hurting a little bit. But this is so beautiful. Like, if I don't use this as a finishing powder, which I do every day, if I don't use this as a highlight, I'll use it on like very natural days. Like if I'm going to the gym, this is like my go-to highlight for the gym. I usually use the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance for the gym. But then I just feel like it's not enough highlight for me because I need to highlight my face like every single day of the year now. I'm actually not wearing any of my all-time favorites today. I'm wearing a new one from Too Faced, the Too Faced Candlelight Glow. So beautiful, but I've only been wearing it for 2 days, so I couldn't really include it in this video. But this is definitely so beautiful, layering it over the matte radiance. It just gives such a gorgeous glow. But also, it's my all-time favorite finishing powder, but I wanted to mention it as a highlight in this video, that it's definitely one of my highlights I was using year-round besides the 2 Becca ones. So these are probably the only 3 I used year-round. And then, yeah, getting back to the Ethereal Light, I just think it's so beautiful. I don't know what it is about this one, but it's so beautiful on the cheeks. I might have not used it as much recently, but it's just, I don't know, I just absolutely love it. So there's that one. And then these two, I'm mostly mentioning these because of the formula, because these are recent loves, but I just can't not include them in my all-time favorites because one of them is already my holy grail status, and I've only had it for like maybe less than 2 months, but I just cannot not mention this. And I think you guys already know, this is the NARS Blush in Madly. I don't know how the frig I lived without this blush. I don't know why I didn't pick it up before. It is the most gorgeous nude blush you will ever own. It looks like nothing in the pan. When you put this on your face, it is so beautiful. I've used the crap out of this since I've gotten it. Probably 20 times at least, maybe even more. But I don't know what it is about this blush. It's just so, 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 so beautiful. I can't believe how afraid I was of getting NARS blushes because of the glitter in them. But once you put them on your face, there's no glitter. It's just a glow. And it's like, holy shit. And they're so super pigmented along with the Becca ones. The Becca ones, that's what I was going to say. The Becca ones, you barely need to dip your brush in and you basically have blush on your face already. This you can build because it's a very natural shade and it just always comes out beautiful. It's still pigmented, but it's not like, whoa, bam, oh my god, there's so much blush. I mean, like, hello, it's a nude shade, so it's not going to be that. harsh, but this is NARS's Madly right here. It just looks like a freaking matte eyeshadow basically, but it's so beautiful. So NARS blushes are in like my top 3. I think Becca, MAC, and NARS are my favorite all-time formulas. Just amazing. The NARS blushes are so amazing. And I actually now have a sample of NARS's Orgasm that I tried yesterday. I might need to pick up the actual full size of that because I have been trying to go and pick up like a Marc Jacobs one or a Burberry one, but then I just decided to pick up another NARS one because I feel like they're so worth it because I love them so much and I already know I'm going to love them. So yeah, 100% took back my hesitation of NARS blushes because if you don't own a NARS blush, you need to go out and buy one. If you go and buy this and not buy another blush in your entire life, I would, like I've said before, Wild Honey and this, if I only had those 2 blushes in my collection and maybe like one nude pink, which is probably Flower Child, I would be so set. Like, those are the only 3 blushes I would need. And then the last product in this video is a MAC blush. This is the MAC Powder Blush in the shade Melba. I do have Warm Soul, and I do have Sunbask, but I just think that this blush is so beautiful. I know I did cheat a little bit by mentioning these 2 blushes, but I just want to give honorable mentions, I guess, from these 2. But they're also Holy Grail status for me. But this blush is so gorgeous. You can just wear it with anything. And MAC blushes might not last as long as the NARS or the Becca, maybe because I don't have any of the prolong wear blushes because those are a little bit more expensive. This one does have a little bit of a stiffer formula when you dip your brush in, but it's super soft on your face. And I kind of want it to be stiff so I know that it's pigmented, but this is Melba down here. Isn't that so freaking beautiful? I love it so much. So yeah. That's it, guys. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at TBW819 and my Twitter's PokerFace819. I hope you guys enjoyed this little roundup of certain products. I think next I'm going to do my second part, and it's going to be foundations, concealers, eyeliners, mascaras, and lipsticks. I was going to include lipsticks in this video, but then of course this video was 40 minutes. So yeah, that's it. Please like and subscribe. Did I already say that already? Whatever. Bye, guys. And please share what your best of beauty was this year. Bye.